Well, Andrew, the week of Richmond just keeps on giving, doesn't it? Another 260 point day for a good chunk of my lineups. Let's see how we did, Andrew, or should I say, how well we did.
Yeah, let's do it. So for Richmond, yeah, the top guys were all premium plays, as you can see, coming from the HMS and JGR stable. You also can throw Logano, who's really got these 750 tracks here. Your one sleeper of the week, Ross Chastain, again on these 750 tracks. He's just balling out there. And your top Ford for this weekend, of course, was Logano. Top Toyota, it really was a tight battle between Truex Jr., Hamlin, and Kyle Busch. Truex Jr. came out on top. And your top Chevy was Chase Elliott.
So let's look at a few of our lineups here, Andrew. It was a high-scoring fantasy week, assuming that majority of the player base, they played Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano. Those three not only scored the top three most points, but even heading into Richmond, those are your go-tos for this race weekend. In the past, they've been running so well at Richmond, been pretty much automatic, and if you were to pick for these drivers, what's the first track you want to play them, then Richmond's it. And they're living up to the expectations for Richmond.
Yeah, and so I would say my best lineup was definitely the way of just going with all Joe Gibbs Racing and Joey Logano. That's really the best lineup that I had. And I think that's the best strategy to go with at Richmond. Since it really wasn't a Chevy track, as like statistics said. Bowen was the last time they won, but before that, it was a while before they won. And yeah, you didn't really miss out on much if you saved Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott. Yeah, the only really guy, if you just started all Joe Gibbs and Joe Logano, is that sleeper of Ross Chastain.
I'll mention this isn't my highest scoring lineup. That goes to Jackuwarz World Network, but only by 1 point. But the main Jackuwarz lineup, we got the top three with Hamlin, Truex, Logano. But I want to pay attention to the other two drivers in my starters. Christopher Bell was a nice pick as well. He replicates his results from the April race. But the only real disappointment, if I had to pick one, or had any for this weekend, was Eric Almirola. He didn't quite get the amount of points that I was hoping. Not to the likes of Austin Dillon in this race a year ago. But honestly, this could be a whole lot worse picking Almirola. He does bring home just 27 points. Thought he was up there for the... he was challenging towards the end of Stage 2. I guess sometime in Stage 3 he fell back to outside the top 10. Even though we had one of these drivers finish sub 30 points, it's thanks to the bonus picks. I got most of them right this week. That I was able to keep my lineup above 260 points, so that's awesome. I predicted Truex to win, and we got Joey Logano's top Ford. Top Chevrolet was going to be very tricky. Wasn't quite confident in Chase Elliott's speed for this week. I actually went with the curveball here and said Austin Dillon was going to get the top Chevrolet. But it's been quite a long time since the race last year in September.
Yeah, for me, I think I put a lot of Alex Bowman plays because he was the winner here, and honestly, he looked good. As this track and Dover are his best 750 tracks to finish well in here, so I invested a lot into Alex Bowman. I did throw in one Chase Elliott and one Kyle Larson play in all my lineups, yeah, they came home really well. That Chase Elliott play, I got that 5 points, but yeah, out of my 5 lineups, I went 3 for Bowman, 1 for Chase, and 1 for Larson. So yeah, it was really just to stay in the HMS camp here. Chastain could have been the spoiler for top Chevy, but yeah, HMS still overcame him with the speed that they have produced so far.
And so that was the yet again awesome result that you can get from Richmond. Just stack all of your premium plays here, and you should get an easy 260 points, all in just one race at Richmond. So after the first 2 races, here's the playoff standings. Among this cut line, how is it looking for you, Andrew, in terms of your predictions, or who do you think's gonna make it or not?
Well, 3 of my guys are definitely in that picture right there, but they're on the wrong side of the cutoff line in Brad Keselowski, Almirola, and Kurt Busch. But maybe this weekend they get on the right side. If not, it's okay. I'm just happy with 3 out of 4. But yeah, definitely Byron has been a surprise, although maybe not so much as he's been in just a down streak. Bowen and Reddick seem like they can still get in with a good finish, a good running here at Bristol.
But now we're going to look ahead next week. This Saturday night at Bristol, we're under the lights. There's no dirt this time. It's the old school concrete/asphalt race that we have there 2 times a year. But we didn't have that. We had one of them in the dirt this year. But now it's the normal race. And we're going to look at our tier list here. A lot of drivers that did well last week at Richmond should carry you a long ways here as well. We're going to look at our top plays here. The play you should go with here. You should probably base your lineup around Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano. You could probably get away with saving Denny Hamlin here. His results aren't on par with, say, Logano, Larson, or Elliott in Bristol races past. And then there's also Kevin Harvick. He won this race a year ago and has had a lot of top 10s here, surprisingly, at Bristol. And honestly, the 4 car has been that. If there's one driver here at Bristol that I always overlook, it's Harvick. But I'm very slow with my Harvick plays all season long. It's going to be very difficult to leave out my lineup or have a decent excuse to leave him out of my lineup for this week. So I'd like to get a Harvick play at Bristol if it's not too late. But I'm going to be covering in this top plays Kyle Busch. Amongst the top plays, he's borderline cautionary play, and that's based off of a few results that he had in this particular summer Bristol race. I'm looking at the 2018 race, I believe. He was up front contending and then got caught up in an early wreck and then really struggled to maintain a top 20 finish. I think he cut down a tire and it was just a mess. Plus there's also some other races here in Bristol as well, like he cut down a tire in, say, the 2016 race. I'm just trying to memorize off the top of my head, but some point is, if there isn't a race where Kyle Busch isn't dominating, then he's going to have results like that. And amongst all the top player drivers, I don't feel Kyle Busch's results are as consistent as, to say, Elliott, Larson, and Logano, or on the lines of Denny Hamlin. But between the two Gibbs drivers there, I do like Kyle Busch's numbers a bit better than Hamlin's.
I will say, like, on the topic of Kyle Busch, as I look through like the last 6 races, he's been top Toyota 4 out of the last 6 times, and even I know one time he wasn't top Toyota, but he finished 4th. So I think that could have been a spring race, but yeah, I think Kyle Busch is still really the strongest Toyota here. I know maybe speed wise on the 750 package, maybe not so much, but I just really like Kyle Busch here. Even not only just to start in your own lineup, but as top Toyota.
Alright, so what do we got for blind spot plays, Andrew?
For my blind spot this weekend, we're going with a playoff driver in the name of Kurt Busch. He's 750 stats at the beginning of the year. If you look at him, they're around like 14 to 20 range, so not really good, but you know, CGR has really been on a swing this past few weeks. Kind of started at Sonoma, but still, he's been running really good at the 750 package, say like, you know, Nashville, Darlington, and Richmond, all top 10 speed. That one car has been really strong these last few weeks. I know Darlington, he finished 6th place. He got you a good 44 points. And then Richmond, he had the fastest car for the beginning of the race, and yeah, he just had a tire go down. Now he's on the cut line with 0 points. Or he's tied for that 12th and 13th place spot. But I feel really good about Kurt Busch. It's really been the Busch brothers show here at Bristol, as they finished really well in the top 10 a lot of these times. And yeah, I think, you know, with CGR, even including Chastain, I think they're really going out with a bang, you know, on these 750 tracks. And they're just finishing top 10 and having that top 10 speed. So that consider them for at most the garage, but definitely want to start them and maybe do a little bit of saving. I wouldn't blame you for doing that.
Alright, I'd agree. I don't think that crash at Richmond last week is going to be a momentum killer for Kurt Busch. I see it similar to Alex Bowman crashing earlier in the season at Martinsville and then following it up the week later by winning the April Richmond race. So I don't think that crash alone is not going to affect Kurt Busch's speed at Bristol. Plus, Bristol's historically been one of the best tracks for the one car. Alright, let's move over to our long shot plays. A lot of these drivers, if any, they're all outside the playoffs. Very little reasons why you should play any of these, but maybe at least one of these drivers should have a decent top 15 result. I don't think you have to go this far just to find a good result. You might want to stick with either the Childerson or Ganassi drivers, but regardless, for long shot plays in this category, we're going with Daniel Suarez. Now, he did have that awesome result at the Bristol Dirt Race, but that also combines with the fact that Suarez excels on tracks with a lot of high wear, a lot of bumpy surfaces. We're talking the likes of Dover and Nashville. Bristol is a very similar track to that, whether or not it's covered in dirt. And for Suarez, even though the results he had last year, he finished 26th. That was with the Gaunt Brothers equipment, and it's really saying something. He could have easily finished outside the top 30, but managed to stay within that for double-digit points at the very least. But lining up the remaining tracks on the schedule, if you're looking for any Suarez play, if you're trying to get that one in, then I think Bristol's the last track available if you want to try your hands at Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, I would agree with that, as his 750 speed has been pretty decent. He's been in the top 20 a lot, and even though unlike Atlanta, who's got a rough surface, he could have finished top 10 at Atlanta. You know, he had that speeding penalty and he crashed out one race, but yeah, he's just like these rougher surface tracks.
Let's cover our caution plays.
Yeah, for our caution play, we have a guy that did really well last week, and that was Christopher Bell. His past Bristol results, he's finished 28th and 9th, but that was with Levine Family Racing. They are no more, and he's in better equipment with this JGR car. He's finished really well at the 750 packages. The only times where I can pinpoint to where he has been terrible in this package has been Dover, 21st, 16 points. Nashville, maybe, but still, he finished in the top 15, finished 9th, 11 points. And Darlington this week, he finished 20th, but still 11th in points with 28 points, somewhere around there. But besides that, he's been doing really well on these 750 tracks. And I know, it's the first time with the Joe Gibbs Racing 20 car, but I feel like he can master this track or get a feeling for this track to finish in the top 10. Definitely a top 15, but yeah, I really like Christopher Bell. If you really want to save anyone, or if you really want to go for a teammate of Denny Hamlin, that would be Christopher Bell, who's flying a bit under the radar during these playoffs.
Right, if you want to flip-flop Kurt Busch or Christopher Bell for blind spot or caution plays, you can do that. We gushed about Christopher Bell's stats for the 750s. Feels like he's a blind spot play. That being said, Ryan Blaney could be more of a caution play here. His results are kind of like Kyle Busch, but a lot more drastic, and that's he can run really good at Bristol. It's just that not all those races he can finish. Like, he'll finish second stage 1 and then wreck out in stage 2, like a previous Bristol race. But we're gonna cap off our tier list here with the avoids. There's quite a big group of drivers that we're gonna be avoiding here. And that's really these drivers that are going to be clinging on to dear life to make the next round, or in the past, these drivers have not been very good at Bristol. We're talking the likes of Brad Keselowski, Michael McDowell, Cole Custer. They haven't been getting very good results. Neither have Chris Buescher or Eric Almirola. William Byron has been on a big slump. Not just he hasn't had very good Bristol results, but the last 3 weeks he's either had issues or just not very many speed. And this section I'm going to be covering Martin Truex Jr., the race winner from last week. Now, this is a few easy pinpoints to make for Bristol. It's honestly Truex's worst track other than Daytona or Talladega. Something about this short track in particular, which for other short tracks Truex has been exceptional at, but for the case for Bristol, it's just Truex hasn't been able to click on any of these Bristol races. He's thanks to having an excellent starting position from the previous week at Richmond, and it's not just for this race, but also last year's as well. He can have a really good starting position for Bristol, but still end up finishing 20th with no stage points. So that should be all you need to know about if you're considering Truex for Bristol. It's going to be the biggest trap play of the week. I wouldn't be sold on him starting first for this race, because he's going to be losing spots quickly to the likes of Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch. The list goes on. A lot of those drivers, I feel, are going to easily outrun Truex and leave him outside the top 10 in maybe the first few laps.
I think another reason also to pinpoint here is the usage situation. If you used Martin Truex Jr. the past 2 weeks, and he's been in top 10 the past 2 weeks, so definitely you should have used him, and that leaves you only 3 uses left. And with the remaining tracks left, you got the Roval. Las Vegas could be an option, but I really like the Roval, Martinsville, Phoenix. That's 3 or 4 tracks for you already, and they haven't even mentioned like Kansas or Texas, who he could also be good there.
I like the idea of getting Truex in for tracks like Martinsville, like you said. The Charlotte Roval is going to be a must as well, and then you could probably flip-flop that last play for either Las Vegas, Kansas, or Phoenix.
Yeah, just like another situation with the 11 car, you could definitely use them at, not only here, but you could use them here, but if you want to save them, definitely save them for you can use them at Talladega. He's been really good at Dega, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Martinsville, Kansas. He's done really well there, and honestly, these next 2 rounds could be Denny Hamlin, or he could definitely flare up really quickly and just die out. So definitely just keep an eye on your usages, is my tip of advice for you guys.
Yeah, on the subject of usages, you could make a case on use up Denny Hamlin in the first 5 races. You won't be burned all that badly if you do that. Hamlin has been okay enough at Bristol. If you need a play that's going to be that 4-5 punch for Bristol. Las Vegas, he's been having better results there in the last 2 or 3 races, so he's not going to be as terrible as you might think. And then for Talladega, you could use him to try and round out your lineups. Somebody that's going to be giving you at least, say, 25, maybe more than 25, at least 30 points. You might get that with Denny Hamlin at Talladega also. But that's if you want to do that. If you want to help yourself get past these first 5 races, you expend all of your Hamlin plays and look for a plan on getting through the second half of the playoffs without him. So it's something. But all that being said, finally, let's go ahead and set our lineups here, Andrew.
Yeah, for my lineup, my first lineup, JGYU5AY. I'm going Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Larson, and Denny Hamlin. All I have 4 or more usages on. I would like to say around 3, so it's getting very close to them. I have Kyle Busch as my top Toyota and race winner, Toyota as my winning manufacturer, and Joe Gibbs Racing as the top team. I'm going to go Larson and Logano here as top Chevy and top Ford respectively. In my Bowman 48 Ally, I have quite similar drivers to what the JJYU5 AI lineup had. I'm just going to throw in Bell here as someone to replace Hamlin. I've used Hamlin already 3 times, so I'm going to save him for this lineup. And instead of going for Kyle Busch as your race winner, I'm going to go for Kyle Larson here. This could well be really a weekend for the Kyle and Kyle show. My name lineup, I'm just going to go with Kurt. I'm going to throw in Kurt Busch here. I really want to get in 1 or 2 Kurt Busch plays here, and maybe a Chastain play since, CGR their streak has been really hot these past few weekends.
Yeah,
and instead of using Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson as your race winner for this lineup, I'm just gonna throw in Chase Elliott because he looked like the best Chevy last weekend in the 750 package. He could have even won the race last weekend. And for NoChevy, I'm gonna throw in all the top guys, including Harvick, Bell, Kyle Busch, Logano, and Hamlin. And Garage, I'm gonna risk it with Blaney. I feel like if it's one lineup to risk it in, that's fine with me, and especially in the garage. And for here, I'm throwing a huge curveball here. I'm picking last year's winner, Kevin Harvick, with Ford and SUAREZ Racing, and as my winning manufacturer. I feel like if Harvick can win, it's probably gonna be here, as you know he's been really good here. He and Logano have competed with top Ford, so definitely those are two to consider for top Ford. I've replaced him with Logano here and throw Chase Elliott as the top Chevy.
Well, I'll sum up all my lineups. So, starting off with Jackuwarz 1, I'm going to be taking a bring a machete to a knife approach. I'm actually going to be going with the entire front row of our top plays from our tier list. And that includes Denny Hamlin. Going to be real aggressive by going with Hamlin, and I'll figure out how to manage my 2 usages after that. And that's assuming that if I don't garage him and put Kyle Busch out of it. Chase Elliott is going to be my leading candidate to win for this week. I like the idea that in all the short tracks this year, he's led the most laps, I believe, if I'm correct on that. He showed me a tweet on something like that.
The most points out of everybody. Maybe not the most laps, but definitely the most points out of all the drivers since the start of 2020. So that was last year.
Right. And then for top Ford, I'm basing it off Joey Logano. Don't fix what ain't broke, I feel. Plus, it's either Harvick or Logano for the top Ford this week. And then Kyle Busch for top Toyota. Denny Hamlin's also a okay option, but to your point, Andrew, I think Kyle Busch is going to be a bit stronger than Denny Hamlin in terms of finishing in front of all of his teammates, plus Bubba Wallace. And then, of course, you could go split the bonus picks, thinking it's either Logano or Kyle Busch in the form of Chevrolet or winning team, but I'm going to keep it all centered around the race winner and Chase Elliott. Because honestly, you can go all kinds of directions with your bonus picks, mainly the race winner. You got Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch. All three of the big three organizations could win and could really throw off your winning manufacturing team. But we'll see what those other ideas. WastElliott, my experimental lineup. That's my only one that's gonna. Well, there's another lineup later too. That's gonna have Ganassi plays. So also save. No, never mind. We'll also have Denny Hamlin here. I think I'm gonna see what happens if I burn up all my Denny Hamlin plays, just like with Chase Elliott. Because really, the first 5 tracks for Hamlin are just gonna be that good for Hamlin, I believe. Pick Stenhouse. We gotta try and get some Stenhouse plays in. Even though Bristol's been the last 3 or 4 races for Stenhouse has been DNF City, DNF Mania. I think we still got to try and get it in anyways. Plus, if it doesn't work out, we'll just do the same strategy we did last week at Richmond, which is leave Stenhouse in the garage and leave this race for just the starters. And then I think the more interesting lineup would be NoChevy. This lineup, I have enough room to play Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell. Of course, Kevin Harvick as well. And then Ryan Newman, I'll have in the garage. I like him as a good sneak option, potentially. He might not get some stage points. I mean, when does he ever do that? But I expect at least a top 15 result out of Newman. I could easily go with, say, DiBenedetto or so, but I'll just go with the more steadier approach with Newman, let's just say. And if it doesn't work out, then same strategy with Stenhouse, just garage him. And then for World Network, this is where I got a Ross Chastain play. Hopefully it's not too late to get any plays with him. And then I think Joey Logano, if you have him winning all the way, that could be a very sneaky option as well. He could just get the win in very similar fashion to the Bristol Dirt. Nobody's going to be thinking about Logano. They're more thinking about either Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, or Chase Elliott to win. And then Logano's there out in front at the very end.
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of those things you said. Just another thing to point out is, with the Hamlin strategy, I think a lot of it is just based on what he's done at the beginning of the year. He's done I think 8 or 10 races where he was in the top 5 in fantasy. And so yeah, sometimes the approach we're going here is we're just gonna burn a lot of these usages, save a bit minimally. So that's maybe just throw in one surprise garage driver. But besides that, Hamlin's one that we think that you should burn up a lot, as yeah, there's probably going to be that one driver that always does great at the early the playoffs and just struggles the rest of the way. Maybe it's not Hamlin, but yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that one driver. And yeah, with his momentum and speed of, I think, just being top 3 in the past 2 weeks, yeah, it's really hard to pass him up for Bristol.
Right, and so that's our picks. The Bash Pro Shops night race at Bristol 500 miles is this Saturday night, September 18th, starting at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for watching this video. Enjoy the Bristol night race weekend, everybody.
Yep, see you guys later.